Welcome students. Good evening to all of you. Good evening Kiran, Sudhanshu Shekhar, Rachna, Loga Sundar and all others who have joined in or are in the process of joining. Yes, welcome Darshan. So students, we are into third session of this chapter number 4, that is risk assessment and internal control. So far we have what we have done. We have done audit risk. We have understood components of audit risk. We have known that audit risk is formed of risk of material misstatements and detection risks. And risk of material misstatement in turn consists of two risks. That is number one, inherent risk and control risk. Okay. And we have also understood the meaning of detection risk. And we have also now come to know that why understanding an entity, a company is important, and what are its benefits, what is its significance. And these whole things are based upon SA 315. We have also learned about internal control and 5 components of internal control, which we did last time. So what were those components of internal control? Control environment, entities risk assessment process, information system, including the related business processes, relevant to financial reporting and communication. And fourth was control activities, and fifth was monitoring of activities. We have also done day before yesterday what constitutes a significant risk. So when the auditor has to decide what constitutes a significant risk, what factors he would consider at least. And we had also studied about non-routine transactions and why risk is greater in case of such transactions. So now we will start with evaluation of internal control. Yes, evaluation. So we have got a basic knowledge of what internal control means and what are its components as a model. Okay, academically now we know that this is the framework of internal control. Now we want to evaluate it. Now what is the meaning of evaluate? Yes guys, tell me. What is the meaning of evaluate? To evaluate, what does it mean? When you evaluate something, what is the meaning of it? This term has come at least 100 times in your chapter 3. Tell me, what does evaluation mean? And Kiran Shukla, there is a query you have raised. This I will take in the middle of session when that topic comes. Okay, so don't worry. Yes guys, tell me, what is the meaning of evaluation? Yes, Ayush Dwivedi, Ustad Singh, Mariam, Tanzim. Anybody, what do we mean by evaluation? Yes, to value. Sayyid Darshan is writing value. And Sayyid, you are saying to check its accuracy. Yes. Subhashiri, examine. Yes. Anybody else? Yes guys, fairly अभी तो कितने आई थिंक 10-15 लेक्चर हो चुके हैं या ज्यादा. आपको इवेल्युएशन का मतलब पता होना चाहिए. means to check, to analyze. Yes. So many students today, you are late in joining, still at 6:05 you are logging in. So to evaluate, Sonali is writing, form an idea of the amount, cross checking. More or less you are touching about what is the meaning of evaluate. You are right in your own sense. So evaluate mean, guys, to assess, like a thing might be right or wrong. So how do I come to know whether it is right or wrong? So whatever knowledge I have, I would assess it. Okay. So evaluation means to assess. जैसे like तराजू में तोलना, हिंदी में जो कहते हैं ना, सो टू असेस, उसके सारे प्रॉस एंड कॉन समझ के उसको असेस करना. Say if I say that if the management contends that it has got a working internal control system, so would I rely upon the management's intention alone? Would I rely upon management's mere representation alone, that okay, you are saying that you have got a good internal control system, and you are saying it works also? So I would have to assess it. I would have to evaluate it. So, okay. So evaluation would benefit me in many ways. In evaluation would help me in many ways. So how it would help me? So when I evaluate something, when I assess something, it might bring to my knowledge what are the deficiency in it, which areas are more error prone or fraud prone. Okay. Like say for evaluating, I frame say 10-15 question. Okay. Say I am evaluating internal control relating to fixed assets. Okay, let us assume so. I am trying to evaluate internal control relating to fixed assets. So I would ask questions like how fixed assets are purchased. Are these duly authorized by responsible official of the company? Who is that official? Okay. And whether tenders are called, how that purchase is made, whether the tenders are called. Okay. Whether check is made from the suppliers. Say the company regularly purchases machinery, so is their credibility check is done for suppliers who are supplying the machinery. So by asking these questions and getting their answers, I try to assess, I try to pinpoint the areas where which can be more error prone, more fraud prone, or which could be deficient. Okay. So you understand, guys, what is the importance of evaluation, what is the importance of assessing. Say a company has got some system, now we have to assess it, we have to evaluate it. Okay. No, Darshan, internal control is not evaluated by tests of control. Tests of control means actual testing the controls. We would be coming to that later on. It means actually applying, actually checking whether the control which the management has built, that is working or not. So this you have already read in chapter 3, tests of control. As the name suggests, that controls which are operating, these are to be actually practically tested, whether these are operating or not. Okay, so evaluation is before that. So evaluation is the auditor tries to extract information regarding the controls. Okay, he's still in the process of studying, and by this evaluation he can get to know where he should focus more. Okay, clear, Darshan? So benefits of evaluation of internal control to the auditor. What are the benefits? As simple. Again, guys, last time also I had told you that if you understand the basic thing, like you have understood, you know the meaning of internal control. Now you know the meaning of evaluation also. Okay, you know that evaluation means assessment, to which helps one uh, to bring out deficiencies, to bring out areas where auditor is likely to put more focus. So say if in exam you are asked to write a simple question like this, let us assume hypothetically that write any 4 benefits of evaluation of internal control. So again you are blank. Say in the exam you forgot all the points which you had remembered when you were preparing. But this thing you could not have forgotten, that what is the meaning of internal control and what is the meaning of evaluation. So you can logically form your own points, and that you would be surprised to know those points which you would be writing by yourself, by thinking logically, these would normally match with your answer. Okay. So the review of internal controls will enable the auditor to know whether error and frauds are likely to be located in the ordinary course of operations of the business. It would happen only when the controls are functioning. Okay, whether an adequate internal control system is in use. So if the answers to questions which he would put, or by any other means with which he is evaluating, not necessarily in the form of questions, then he can know if such a system is in place, then it means that the internal control system is functioning as planned by the management. Okay, whether an effective internal audit department is operating. So internal audit, this we will also study in the later part of this chapter, most likely on Tuesday. So internal audit, you have idea what is internal audit? Internal audit means in-house audit. So internal auditor does not express opinion on the financial statements. He helps management in improving the governance of the company. Okay, he helps management in improving the governance of the company. Broadly, you can understand like this only. So whether any administrative control has a bearing on his work. Okay, like if the control over worker recruitment and enrollment is weak, there is likelihood of dummy names being included in wage sheets. So like say if workers are there is not a proper system, there are deficiencies in recruiting, in the system of recruiting the employees, then there is a possibility that it might become a fraud prone area, and the payment may be made to fictitious persons by adding ghost workers, by adding dummy names. Okay. So Syed, what questions you are asking? You would gain clarification in some more minutes. So please keep patience. So whether the controls adequately safeguard the assets, how reliable are how reliable the reports, record, and certificates to the management can be. So guys, here we are talking about um, evaluating a system. We are still not actually testing it or not performing test of controls. That is next step. Okay. Now, Syed, you are saying that second step is in appears to be tests of control. So here you have to understand, Syed, that the auditor, although he would gain satisfaction by actually testing when he would be performing tests of controls, but if in the process of evaluation the questions he is asking and the answers he is getting, those are favorable, then he can assume that okay, that system is likely to be in working condition. Okay, so it might be so that after he performs actual testing, his assessment might change. So then whatever he had evaluated, whatever he had assessed, okay, he might have to change his assessment. Is that clear, Syed? Okay, so similar points. The extent and depth of examination. So in some cases where say the auditor has studied the internal control and he finds that internal control in say some one area is not strong. Okay, then he might have to focus more on that areas, because there this it could be a area, it could be a fraud prone area. Okay, so what would be the appropriate audit technique and audit procedures? So he is just studying, okay, what are the areas where control is weak and excessive. So all are more similar points and one is related to another. So you understand, guys, and you understand your exam strategy also. See, students, again, if you try to learn every line of the module, then it is not practically possible. So what you have to learn, you have to develop a capability of judging from the contents of the topics, from the contents of the chapter, that what are the key things in that chapter. And after learning those key things, so learn those key things. After learning those key things, you can develop your own thoughts on the processes that flow from it. So that is the sound strategy. So time and again you are asking how we should write the answers in the exam. So I am covering that aspect also. So formulate audit program after understanding the controls. So very simple. Now evaluation of internal control methods. So broadly, guys, there are 4 methods of evaluation of internal control. Now, first we have already studied what does evaluation of internal controls mean. What are the benefits of evaluation of internal control? Now we shall study what are the methods of internal control. Methods of evaluation of internal control. Suraj, you are asking English to English. I can't understand, Suraj. I am sorry to say it is your problem. We can't help. It is a pan-India class. Although I am trying a little bit to speak in Hindi, but if I speak in Hindi for a longer period, then it becomes an issue for the students who are not from Hindi speaking states. Okay. So a review of the internal control can be done by a process of study, examination, and evaluation of the internal control system installed by the management. So what are the methods? What are the methods? So there are 4 methods of evaluation of internal control. उसके 4 मेथड हैं. कौन से 4 मेथड है? These are the 4 methods. So students, पहले तो आपको इन 4 मेथड्स के नाम याद करने हैं, एंड देन यू हैव टू रिमेंबर दैट व्हाट मेथड स्टेट्स व्हाट. बेसिक चीज आप याद रख लें. व्हाट मेथड स्टेट्स व्हाट, देन it would be permanently fixed. It would be a permanent fixture in your mind. Okay. So what are the 4 methods? First is narrative record. Second is checklist. Third is questionnaire. And fourth is flowchart. These are the 4 methods of evaluation of internal control. So चारों के नाम आपको याद होंगे स्टूडेंट्स. What are these? These are methods for evaluation of internal control. 4 methods. I am again repeating the names. 4 methods are narrative record, number 2 checklist, number 3 questionnaire, or it is also called as IC questionnaire. IC questionnaire. It means internal control questionnaire, and flowchart. Clear, guys? Now, what is narrative record? What is narrative record? Now, student, what is narrative? Tell me, what is narrative? Narrative का क्या मतलब है? So अगर आपको स्टूडेंट्स उसका मीनिंग पता है, इंग्लिश में वर्ड का मीनिंग पता है कि उसका मतलब क्या है, तो उसको आपके लिए समझ पाना और आसान हो जाता है. It becomes more easy for you. It becomes easier for you. So the scope of rote learning is also reduced. Okay. So tell me, guys, what is the meaning of narrative? Narrative. Do not tell me what is included in narrative record. Just tell me the word, the English word narrative. What is its meaning? Tell me. In your own words. Do not search online. Do not search from dictionary. Just explain in your own words. Yes, few mails have come. Loga Sundar, Sudhanshu, Subhashri, Sanjeet, Singh, Rajiv Kumar, Varsha. And what about others? So I think you You do not seem to be in large strength today, guys. Only few students have joined. Probably you are finding lectures of auditing to be too boring, or you are presuming that we will study after doing our complete accountancy course. So what is the reason? Are you find the lectures too boring, guys? So tell me so that we can improve. Tell us so that we can improve. Narrative record. So many mails have come. Deekshita, she is writing, describe the sentences in a simple way when a narrator narrates his idea, speaking or writing in short. Yes. So more or less, it is correct. So narrative means to put something, to explain something. Okay. To describe something. To create a story, to create an idea. Okay. Yes, Akshay, you are saying it is a bit boring actually. Okay, Akshay, we will try to improve. So narrative record means the auditor actually writes whatever he has observed. Okay, say I have observed internal control relating to purchases. I have also um, studied the internal control relating to sales. Now what I do, I try to jot it down. Okay, I put into the writing what system. First of all, I will prepare a rough draft and then I would refine it. That what are the various steps, how the system is in actual operation by relating to purchases. Okay. So you understand then what narrative record means. So now tell me, if the auditor has to write narrative record, say, of internal control in respect of a large listed company, would he be in a position to write? So tell me, क्या एक बहुत बड़ी कंपनी के, जो कि एक स्टॉक एक्सचेंज पे लिस्टेड कंपनी है, ऑडिटर उसके इंटरनल कंट्रोल का क्या नरेटिव रिकॉर्ड उसके लिए फिजिबल होगा, उसके लिए प्रैक्टिकल होगा लिखना? टेल मी. यस स्टूडेंट्स. Would it be possible? Would it be practical feasible for him? Yes. Now mails have come. No. Yes, you are right. It would not be possible for him, because to put everything in narration, to put everything into writing, to describe the whole internal control system, there would be internal control system relating to so many aspects in such a large company. There would be internal control in respect to purchases, there would be internal control in respect to sales, in respect to inventories, in respect to procurement of assets, in respect to various expenditure, in respect to cash, in respect to banks, and so many other things. So therefore, we say that narrative record as a method of evaluation of internal control is not suitable for large companies, is not suitable for large businesses. Okay. So it is suitable for small business, small company. So therefore, it may be recommended in cases where no formal control system is in operation and would be more suited to small business. Okay, so the basic disadvantages of narrative record are: to comprehend the system in operation is quite difficult, to identify weakness or gaps in the system is difficult, because it is like you can understand it that way. The difference between between objective type questions and subjective type questions. So the narrative record is more of a subjective type question. Okay. So to incorporate changes arising on account of reshuffling of manpower. So any number of disadvantages can be made. So what do you gather from studying this narrative record? So आपके दिमाग में परमानेंटली स्टूडेंट्स रह जाएगा, आपको बार बार याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है कि you have to remember, number one, narrative record is complete description of the system as found in operation by the auditor. So the auditor is seeing what is the transaction flow, how the transaction is moving through which controls processes, and therefore then he jots down that system. So it would not be suitable for the large businesses, large companies, but it would be suitable for small companies, small business, where the control structure is not very much structured, it is a family company, father and son company. The both are looking about the business. They are looking also about purchase, sales. The control is in their hands. So there are no elaborate formal controls. Okay. So in that type of case, to write a 1 page or half page about it, it would describe that what is the system, how these people are making purchases, how these are making sales. So in case of small companies, it would be suitable, but not in case of large companies. Okay. Now we come to checklist. Now second method is checklist. Now what is checklist? As the name suggests, as the name shows, checklist, जैसे चेकलिस्ट की फॉर्म में क्वेश्चंस होते हैं ना स्टूडेंट्स, वही चेकलिस्ट इज ए मेथड फॉर इवेल्युएशन ऑफ इंटरनल कंट्रोल. ओके. उसमें कई क्वेश्चन और इंस्ट्रक्शंस हैं जो कि ऑडिटर के स्टाफ को उसका आंसर करना है बाय ऑब्जर्विंग. ओके. सो जैसे लाइक द एग्जांपल इज गिवन, like few examples of checklist instructions are given. Are tenders called before placing orders? ओके. ये परचेज की चेकलिस्ट का एक एग्जांपल है, परचेज चेकलिस्ट. Are tenders called before the placing of orders? मेरे को किसी नई चीज का ऑर्डर प्लेस करना है, कोई रॉ मटेरियल मंगवाना है. सो what system does company have? Does it call for tender? So answer I would write if yes or no. So if I write yes, it means that there is a strong system. Okay. and no means formal control in this aspect is not there. Okay. Are the purchases made on the basis of written order? So kya whether when purchases are made from some party, whether order is given, and say if the order is placed, then whether say when the goods are received, whether these are checked with those orders. So next step could also be there with the point which is not here. It is just an example containing few points. So quite logical things. This you can make out yourself. Suppose I give you a question in the exam that prepare a checklist for sales. Prepare a checklist for sales containing 5 points. So you can similarly sales में क्या क्या होता है उस हिसाब से आप उसका बना सकते हैं. So like is the purchase order form, so अगर order है, are the purchases made on the basis of a written order, then whether the order form is standardized, whether it is pre-numbered. Okay. Similarly, are the inventory control records maintained by persons who have nothing to do with receipt of inventories, inspection of inventory and purchase of inventories? So again, the concept of segregation of duties is involved. Okay, so that person who is responsible for purchase of inventories, he is not मेंटेनिंग इन्वेंट्री रिकॉर्ड्स बिकॉज उसका इंटरेस्ट है, उसको पता है कि मैं इन्वेंट्री क्या परचेज कर रहा हूं. सो ही शुड नॉट बी एबल टू he should not be given the responsibility for maintaining inventory records also, or for entering these in any way in stores or etc. Okay. Tanisha, you are saying what do you mean by pre-numbered? Say this basically this format checklist probably relates to rather I would say pre-automation era. Pre-numbered say when there used to be a printed book of purchased orders. So obviously when there is a printed book of purchase orders, then everything is pre-numbered. There is a numbering. Okay. So now with the installation of softwares, it could be automatic. Okay. So is that clear to you, Tanisha? Or if some company is still using pre-numbered ordered book, then it is a manual process. Yes, Ravi Kumar. Checklist is prepared by the auditor. Okay. Why now you have to understand why it has to be prepared by the auditor, because the auditor wants to evaluate. Auditor is doing his job, he has to perform the audit, so he has to obtain assurance that whether the internal control system can be relied upon or not. Okay, so it is his job, he would prepare checklist, and his staff and or team members, they are going to answer by actually seeing the things. Okay. Yes, obviously, Darshan, this is to checklist is to be made in writing. It is to be documented. So auditor कैसे शो करेगा कि उसने internal control evaluate कैसे किया? He would have to put it in paper. Is it clear? So आपको समझ आ गया स्टूडेंट्स, चेकलिस्ट जो है वो किसी भी कंपनी के वर्किंग के बारे में, डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स के बारे में, जैसे परचेज, जैसे सेल्स, जैसे फिक्स्ड एसेट्स की परचेज, जैसे कैश के बारे में, जैसे एक्सपेंसेस के बारे में, उसके बारे में डिफरेंट क्वेश्चंस हैं। क्या ये ऐसा होता है? क्या फिक्स्ड एसेट्स का आपका परचेज करने का सिस्टम क्या है? क्या उसके लिए प्रॉपर कंपनी का ऑफिसर फिक्स्ड एसेट्स की परचेज को ऑथराइज करता है? क्या जिन सप्लायर से आप परचेज करते हैं उनके क्रेडेंशियल्स चेक किए जाते हैं? क्या वो क्वालिटेटिव मशीनरी सप्लाई करते हैं? क्या वो ब्लैक लिस्टेड सप्लायर तो नहीं है? तो इस टाइप की चीजें। और ये जो है ये क्वेश्चंस जो ऑडिटर प्रिपेयर करता है, ये उसके स्टाफ ऑडिटर का स्टाफ ही इसका आंसर देता है बाय एक्चुअली सीइंग द थिंग्स। बाय एक्चुअली सीइंग द थिंग्स दे वुड राइट yes or no, and then they would show him, and then the auditor gets to know broad overall picture. Okay. Now Ravi Kumar, I am coming to your point in few minutes. Now third method is internal control questionnaire. What it is? Internal control questionnaire, IC questionnaire. ओके, आईसी क्वेश्चनियर क्या है? आईसी क्वेश्चनियर भी सीरीज ऑफ क्वेश्चन है रिगार्डिंग इंटरनल कंट्रोल. ओके, वेरी डिटेल्ड इन ऑल एस्पेक्ट्स. नाउ यू वुड से चेकलिस्ट में भी क्वेश्चन थे, आईसी क्वेश्चनियर में भी क्वेश्चंस हैं, तो दोनों में फर्क क्या है? दोनों मेथड्स अलग अलग कैसे हैं? सो आईसी क्वेश्चनियर जो है ये इट इज यूजुअली filled by the client. It is usually filled by the client, by the staff of the company. So here what happens is the auditor prepares a questionnaire, okay, and gives to the company, okay, or gives to the, say, to the bank, to the insurance company, or to any company which he is going to audit, and the company staff, the auditee staff fills answers to these questions, and then the auditor sees, okay, then the auditor assesses, then the auditor evaluates. Ravi Kumar, is your query answered? Tell me. So what is the difference between checklist and questionnaire? Questionnaire is normally filled by client staff, by company staff, by the auditee client staff. Okay. So this is internal control questionnaire. Yes, Ravi Kumar, tell me. This is a comprehensive series of questions containing internal control. It is most widely used form for collecting information about the existence, operation, and efficiency of internal control. So this is the most widely used method. Again, key point to remember is that it is the most widely used methods. In many cases, in most of the cases, IC questionnaire is used. Okay. So because one thing is that the auditor the auditor forms his own view after getting answers from the client, so some of his burden is reduced. Okay, so an important advantage of questionnaire approach is that oversight or omission of significant internal control procedures is less likely to occur with this method. So there can be IC questionnaire for different aspects. Say guys, there would be IC questionnaire for purchases separate, for sales separate, for fixed assets separate. So quite detailing could be there. So the IC questionnaire is framed in such a way so that defects become very clear. Say if the questions are normally framed in such a way that a yes denotes satisfactory response and a no denotes a negative response. If there is a no, then it means that this control is lacking on the part of the company. Okay. So the questionnaire form also provides an orderly means of disclosing control defects. It is the general practice to review the control system annually and record the review in detail. In questionnaire, questions are framed. Again, the same thing. Yes denotes satisfactory and no suggests weakness. And provision is also made for not applicable replies. So depending upon case to case basis, upon circumstances. So, and what is the most important point? The questionnaire is usually issued to the client, and the client is requested to get it filled from the concerned employees. So this is the most important differentiating point. So students, होता क्या है, मान लो आपने ये याद तो कर लिया चारों मेथड्स, लेकिन आप चेकलिस्ट और इंटरनल कंट्रोल क्वेश्चनर में डिफरेंशिएट आपने अपने दिमाग में किया ही नहीं. सो एग्जाम में जो क्वेश्चन आया वो से डिफरेंशिएटिंग पॉइंट पर ही आ गया. उसमें एमसीक्यू में ऑप्शन दी हुई है, चेकलिस्ट भी दी हुई है और कोई आईसी क्वेश्चनियर भी दिया हुआ है. और आपको ये पॉइंट आपने उसको रिमेंबर नहीं किया तो क्या होगा, आप तीर तुक्का लगाओगे और वो आंसर गलत होगा. ओके. यस हिमांशु. Himanshu looks, the auditor is assessing whatever the information the client has given. Okay, he is relying upon that, but he is not assuming it to be true. He would actually test the controls. So when he would test the controls and he finds that that his assessment was not okay, that earlier he had assessed that control systems are healthy, these are functioning, appear to be functioning well in accordance with the information given by the client. Then when he actually tests the controls, he finds that controls are not working as intended, then he can revise his assessment. Okay, so it is just a way, it is just a method of extracting information from the client. Okay, कि आप हमें बताओ कि आपका क्या सिस्टम है, आप ही बताओगे, आपकी कंपनी है, आपका बिजनेस है, आप हमें बताओ क्या सिस्टम है. तो isn't it a good way? Tell me. Yes, it is also true, Sanjeet. But the more important difference is that questionnaire is issued to the client staff and it is filled by client staff. And checklist, it is also question answer. It is filled by auditor staff. Clear? Yes, students, clear? And not the least, there is a flow, another method, flow chart. Flow chart. So flow chart is another method of evaluation of internal control. So flow chart is, what is a flow chart? What is a flow chart? Flow chart you have seen many times in your module, in your books, in your syllabus. There are also flow chart. So similarly, flow chart as a method of internal control, it is also a graphic representation of company's system of internal control. It is a graphic representation of each part of company's internal control. जैसे कि परचेजेस का एक फ्लो चार्ट है, सेल्स का अलग से फ्लो चार्ट है, डिफरेंट स्टेप्स हैं, इस स्टेप के बाद ये होगा, इस स्टेप के बाद ये होगा, इसके लिए ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, इस स्टेप के लिए इस डिपार्टमेंट की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है. सो इट इज ए सॉर्ट ऑफ पिक्टोरियल रिप्रेजेंटेशन, और जो ओवरऑल व्यू देती है, इट गिव्स ए बर्ड्स आई व्यू ऑफ द होल प्रोसेस. ओके, सो सारी कंपनी का एक फ्लो चार्ट तो बनाना पॉसिबल नहीं है. सो ऑब्वियसली डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स के डिफरेंट एस्पेक्ट्स के अलग अलग फ्लो चार्ट्स बन सकते हैं, और सिंस इट इज ए ग्राफिक रिप्रेजेंटेशन, सो इट गिव्स ए bird's eye view, overall eye view, quick eye view, where an experienced person can say that these are the areas where the controls might be lacking. Okay, so clear? So a flow chart is considered to be the most concise way of recording auditor's review of the system. It minimizes the amount of narrative explanation. So narrative इसमें होता ही नहीं, so it is just opposite of narrative, opposite of narrative record. Okay, so narrative record में everything is to be jotted down, to be written down. So whatever has been found in operation by the auditor, it has to be written down, but here it minimizes narration work, it minimizes writing work. Okay, and it gives bird's eye view of the system, and flow of transactions and integration and in documentation can be spotted, and improvements can be suggested. Okay, so this you have to understand, remember. So guys, what I am trying to say, that now you understand what is evaluation, why evaluation is done, what are its benefits, and what are the 4 methods. So which is the best method? It depends upon circumstances. Like in a small company, narrative record could be best. In a large company, IC questionnaire could be suitable, or say the auditor find even IC questionnaire to be cumbersome, and he may rely upon flow chart. Okay, so there is no one straight jacket answer to that. It depends upon circumstances. Okay, दर्शन. So आपको चारों के नाम याद रखने हैं, और उनमें क्या क्या distinctive points हैं, then you can write it in your own words. Now we come to testing of internal control. Next topic is testing of internal control. Now we have understood the meaning of internal control, we have understood components of internal control, we have also learned the methods for evaluating internal control, and we know the benefits of evaluating internal control. Now we come to actual testing of internal control. So Darshan, 2 or more methods can be used simultaneously. It is a hypothetical question. Say probably you can use IC and the flow chart, but IC and this checklist would not go hand in hand. Okay. So testing of internal control after assimilating the internal control system, auditor needs to examine whether and how far the same is actually in operation. So this is the most important thing. That leads us to what? That leads us to tests of control, which you had read in chapter 3. Tests of controls. So this is also an audit procedure. So say first I had assessed. Now I am talking just about controls. First I had assessed the risk of controls. Okay, let us now talk about controls. So first I had assessed the control risk, whether control risk is high or low. Okay, suppose I assessed the control risk to be low. Risk, earlier I was talking about risk, chances. Okay, so I had assessed that chances of control system not operating satisfactorily or controls not being able to prevent errors or frauds, or if committed not able to detect and correct errors, then that possibility was on lower side. Suppose I had assessed this. Now when I am actually testing the controls, I may find that my whole observation was wrong. अरे भैया कि इसमें तो सब कुछ ही गड़बड़ है. जो मैंने असेस किया था या जो कंपनी ने मेरे को डॉक्यूमेंटेशन प्रोवाइड की थी, जो मैनुअल्स प्रोवाइड किए थे, उसके बेस पे जो मैंने असेसमेंट निकाली थी, उसके हिसाब से तो यहाँ काम ही नहीं हो रहा. ओके, द कंट्रोल्स आर नॉट ऑपरेटिंग. कि उसमें तो लिखा हुआ था मैनुअल्स में कि यहाँ पे तो मंथली बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन बनती है, क्वार्टरली स्टॉक की वेरिफिकेशन कंपनी के स्टाफ की ड्यूटी है करने में, लेकिन जब एक्चुअली देखा तो बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन स्टेटमेंट ही नहीं बन रही वहां तो 6-6 महीने. ओके, सो और फिजिकल वेरिफिकेशन भी स्टॉक की नहीं हो रही. सो दिस इज how it will be known when the auditor would actually see, when auditor would actually test the controls. Okay, so how testing is done? Testing is done by application of procedural tests and auditing in depth. ओके, तो दो तरीके से टेस्टिंग हो सकती है, आइदर थ्रू प्रोसीजरल टेस्ट और ऑडिटिंग इन डेप्थ. तो दोनों का क्या मतलब है? प्रोसीजरल टेस्ट मींस कि जो कंपनी ने प्रोसीजर्स उस एक्टिविटी के बारे में बनाए हैं, वेदर दीज आर बीइंग फॉलोड और नॉट, तो वो तो हो गए प्रोसीजरल टेस्ट्स. लाइक परचेज के बारे में जो जो प्रोसीजर्स कंपनी ने बनाए हैं, वेदर दीज आर बीइंग फॉलोड और नॉट. ओके, नाउ किरण शुक्ला, आई एम ऑल्सो कमिंग टू योर क्वेश्चन विच यू हैड आस्क्ड at the beginning. Kiran Shukla, are you listening? Yes, Kiran, or you have logged out? Yes, Kiran, tell me. Quickly, Kiran, yes, come on. Are you still logged in? Are you listening? I am answering your query. Drop a mail, Kiran. Yes, Kiran. procedural tests and auditing in depth. Yes, Kiran? No, I think she is not here. She has probably logged out. Anyway, she was asking what is the meaning of procedural tests. So procedural tests means that the procedures which were laid by the management, whether these are followed or not. Say there is an example given here at the next page. Like it has been suggested that actual operation of internal control should be tested by application of procedural tests and examination in depth. Procedural tests means simply testing of the compliance with the procedures laid down by the management in respect of initiation, authorization, recording and documentation, okay, of the transaction. Like procedure for sale is given, example is given, like before acceptance of any order, say if some sale order has come to me, okay, the customer has placed a sale order with my company, so I would first ascertain whether I will be in position to execute that order. Say if I am a trader of finished goods, first of all I would ascertain whether the item for which order has been placed, whether it is in my stock, or if I am a manufacturer of that item, I would ascertain whether I can manufacture that item in accordance with the order, say in 1 month, 2 months, whatever the time is there. Okay, so who and such type of things, like the credit period allowed to the party should be the normal credit period. Say I have got a sales order, okay, and I confirm the order, but I do not look about the credit terms. So say normal my credit term is 30 days, okay, the payments come in 30 days. So if this aspect is not taken care of, then the payment from that party would be delayed, okay, or before selling to that customer, I would have to see whether that party is credit worthy, उसकी बैकग्राउंड क्या है, whether it is credit worthy, क्या उसको मैं माल बेच दूंगा तो मेरी पेमेंट ही नहीं आएगी, then bad debts हो जाएंगे, मेरा लॉस हो जाएगा. So these kind of things, these are the procedural tests. So understood guys, what do we mean by procedural tests and what is auditing in depth? So auditing in depth means tracing a transaction from beginning to end. Like say when I purchase something, then I would see that that transaction has been entered in stock records, that in the as an in item, okay, I would see that that item has been properly booked in purchase account, okay, that item has been credited in the supplier's account, okay, the item which was received, okay, it was in accordance with the order placed. So I would trace that transaction from the beginning till end, okay. So procedural tests are just compliances with the procedures made by the management. So tests of control, students, टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल्स के दो एस्पेक्ट्स हैं. देयर आर टू एस्पेक्ट्स रिलेटिंग टू टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल. What are two aspects? These two aspects are, number one, design of the accounting and internal control systems. Okay, first चीज तो डिजाइनिंग की है कि whether the control itself is designed properly. ऑपरेशन की उसकी बात second aspect है. Say if the design of something is faulty, then that would not be able to give desired result. उसके desired results नहीं आ सकते. So design of that control at first stage should be important. Like say there is a control relating to the bank reconciliation statement, and say the design of control is such that it is to be performed by a junior accountant and it is to be carried out after 6 months. Okay, then is the design of the control okay, or is the design of the control faulty? So टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल्स में दोनों एस्पेक्ट देखे जाते हैं कि डिजाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल जो है वो ऐसा होना चाहिए कि इट इज एबल टू prevent errors and frauds. Okay, it is able to prevent errors and frauds, and or it should be able to detect and correct material misstatements. So clear guys? और दूसरा एस्पेक्ट क्या है टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल का? ऑपरेशन ऑफ इंटरनल कंट्रोल थ्रू आउट द पीरियड. इफ द डिजाइन इज गुड, नाउ सेकेंड एस्पेक्ट इज कि वो कंट्रोल चलना भी चाहिए. इफ समथिंग इज नॉट वर्किंग, से if the government has made a law, for example, not we are not talking about auditing. See, if the government has made a law and the law remains on paper also, paper only, it doesn't operate. Okay, people do not follow it. The persons who are responsible for administrating it, they also do not take care. Then what is the use of making such a law? So similarly, if the company has made a system and the system is good, then that system should work also. It should operate throughout the period, not only some part of the period. Throughout the period is also important. Throughout the period is also important. So clear guys? So tests of controls are performed to obtain audit evidence about the effectiveness of the design of accounting system and controls, whether they are suitably designed, and the operation of the internal controls throughout the period. So अगर आपने स्टूडेंट्स टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल्स के इस दो एस्पेक्ट्स को रिमेंबर कर लिया, इस दो एस्पेक्ट्स की लाइंस को रिमेंबर कर लिया, तो इससे सारा आपका मटेरियल जो है टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल्स की का फ्लो करता है. डिस्क्रिप्शन यू कैन मेक इन योर ओन वर्ड्स, लेकिन उस डिस्क्रिप्शन को बनाने के लिए जो बेसिक मटेरियल है वो आपको याद होना चाहिए एग्जाम में. सो अगर आप टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल के दो बेसिक पर्पस भूल जाओगे, दो बेसिक एस्पेक्ट भूल जाओगे, तो आप उसके बारे में लिख क्या पाओगे बताइए मेरे को? यू वुड नॉट बी एबल टू राइट गाइस. क्लियर स्टूडेंट्स? So tests of controls include tests of elements of control environment, where strengths in control environment are used by the auditors to reduce control risk. So जब ऑडिटर टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल करता है तो वो कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट को भी टेस्ट करता है. यू वुड रिमेंबर, यू वुड डू वेल टू रिमेंबर दैट कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट वाज आल्सो पार्ट ऑफ internal control. It is a component of internal control. Remember control environment students? HR policies कंपनी की कैसी हैं, मैनेजमेंट एथिकल है कि नहीं, डेलीगेशन ऑफ अथॉरिटी है कि नहीं, ओके, कल्चर ऑफ ऑनेस्टी है कि नहीं, दीज टाइप ऑफ थिंग्स. सो जब ऑडिटर इंटरनल कंट्रोल टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल कर रहा है तो वो इंटरनल कंट्रोल के किसी भी कंपोनेंट को टेस्ट कर सकता है. सो कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट इज पार्ट ऑफ इंटरनल कंट्रोल. So that is why this is the meaning of this line. Clear? So some of the procedures performed to obtain understanding of the accounting and internal control systems may not have been specifically planned as tests of control, but may provide audit evidence about the effectiveness of control. Like for example, in obtaining accounting and internal control system pertaining to cash, the auditor may have obtained the effectiveness of bank reconciliation process through inquiry and observation. Yes, these are there in essay 315. So स्टूडेंट्स कई बार ऐसे होता है कि मान लीजिए द ऑडिटर इज नॉट परफॉर्मिंग the auditor is performing some procedures which are not specifically planned as tests of control. उसने कुछ इंक्वायर किया किसी एम्प्लॉय से, लेकिन उसका इंक्वायर करने से या ऑब्जर्व करने से उसको एविडेंस मिल गया, उसने उसको टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल एज ए स्पेसिफिकली प्लान नहीं किया, लेकिन अगर उससे उसको एविडेंस मिल गया तो वो भी वही पर्पस सर्व करेगा जो कि टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल से सर्व होता है. जैसे से in the auditor is understanding accounting system pertaining to cash and bank, say the auditor just by inquiring some employee comes to know that bank reconciliation is say carried out monthly, okay, and that is the employee says that it is effective, or he has himself observed him carrying out the bank reconciliation statements every month, okay, then although he has not planned it, specifically planned it as tests of control, but it may provide him evidence about the effectiveness of the design and operation of internal control. As simple as that. Okay. So when the auditor concludes that procedures performed to obtain understanding of accounting and internal control systems also provide audit evidence about the suitability of the design and operating effectiveness of financial statement assertion, the auditor may use that audit evidence. Okay. So same thing. So guys, अब टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल में आता क्या क्या है? What is included in tests of controls? Now this is also important. Tests of controls may include, say, inspection of documents that controls have operated properly. Say students, there is a control, say I am doing audit of a bank, and there is a control that this some transaction has to be initiated by person X. Okay. So what if I go through the bank's records and I can have some information which showed that this transaction was indeed performed by that person. Okay, suppose there is a duty register in which it is stated that that cashier duty is to be performed by this person on a certain day or for certain number of days. So I can obtain the reports from system who was the cashier during those days. So what I'm doing, I'm inspecting the documents of the bank to which give me an evidence that control uh, was operative as intended. Deekshita, I've already answered. Tests of controls are there in SA 315. So inspection of documents, So you have got the example, guys. Have you understood the example? Say I am again I am telling you, I am the auditor of a bank. I am conducting auditor of a bank, and I know from the duty register that this person was assigned the duty of cashier during, say, from 1st April to 15th April. Okay, and I can obtain report from the system that who was actually the cashier during those 15 days. So then only then I will be satisfied that in fact that the control has operated as it was intended by the management. So inspection, tests of control includes inspection. By inspecting some documents, you would get the evidence whether the control has operated or not. Now here we are talking about actual tests of controls. So risk quiz sub हो गया. Now we are actually talking about tests of control. कि टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल मैं कैसे करूंगा, कंट्रोल्स ऑपरेटिव हैं कि नहीं, वो कैसे टेस्ट होंगे. ओके Yes, written representation the management gives. You have already read about written representation in chapter 3 in the relevant essay. But you have to understand, Darshan, that written representation is not sufficient appropriate audit evidence. It is necessary evidence, but it is not sufficient appropriate. It is just when that auditor obtains this to his satisfaction that okay, the management is also confirming, but he cannot simply rely upon that. He has to do his independent testing. So inquiry is about and observation of internal controls which leave no audit trail. से अगर किसी कोई ऐसा फंक्शन है जिसकी कोई ऑडिट ट्रेल नहीं है, कोई रिपोर्ट ही नहीं जनरेट हो रही. ओके, so how do I know that internal control is operative? So when I actually see that person performing the duty which he was supposed to perform, then I gain satisfaction. So observation can also be there, or I can make inquiry also. So tests of control can be inquiry also, tests of control can be observation also, tests of control can be inspection also. Okay. Now, Darshan, you are asking, can an auditor obtain external confirmations for tests of controls? Now, tests of controls का external confirmation is a substantive procedure, na? इट इज एक्सटर्नल कंफर्मेशन तो है कि पार्टी के यहाँ कितना बैलेंस है, इसमें कंट्रोल कहां से आ गया, वो तो सब्सटेंटिव प्रोसीजर है। ओके, इस बारे में तो इतना तो हो सकता है कि से company has established a control that it should ask for external confirmations from the parties after every 6 months. Say company has got such a control, but it has nothing to do with SA 505, where auditor has to seek external confirmation. Then this control, whether this control has operated or not, the company is getting external confirmation. This he can inspect, or this he can inquire. Okay, so is it clear to you, Darshan? Yes, you're saying clear. So reperformance can also be internal control. Say some control was planned by the management, it was devised by the management, and how does the auditor know whether it is operating or not? A simple method could be reperform it, कि आप करके देख लीजिए. Say the accountant of the company, he has shown you the bank reconciliation statement which he has made. Okay, so what could be the best way? Now whether reconciliation is proper or not, whether it matches with the bank statement, or whether all the plus minus entries have been carried out properly, it can be best satisfaction can be obtained by just simply redoing it. अरे भैया आप करके देख लो, reperformance. Okay, so when you reperform something, then it means you gain satisfaction that the control was there, this was performed, and it was performed actually as planned. अगर वही बैंक रिकंसिलिएशन स्टेटमेंट आपने वर्कआउट किया और वो उससे मैच कर रहा है, then obviously you would see that control is working as planned. So clear, students? So internal tests of control can include inquiry, observation, inspection, reperformance. Okay, testing of internal controls operating on computerized applications or overall information technology function, for example program change controls, like all the controls relating to computer systems, relating to passwords, etc. These are working or not. Again, by observing, by inspection, all these things can be done. Okay, so these relating to IT control you would be studying about in next chapter numbers next to next, chapter number 6, I think. So while obtaining audit evidence about the effective operation of internal controls, the auditor considers how they were applied, the consistency which they were applied during the period, and by whom they were applied. Okay, so this is also important कि जो काम जिसने करना था उसने किया है, क्या प्रॉपरली किया है, क्या पूरे पीरियड में किया है. Okay, so all the considerations are important. So while obtaining audit evidence about the effective operation of internal control, the auditor considers how they were applied, the consistency which they were applied, and by whom they were applied. Okay, so the concept of effective operation recognizes that some deviations may have occurred. अगर कोई deviation है कोई काम वैसे नहीं हुआ तो ये नहीं है कि कंट्रोल इनइफेक्टिव था. इट कुड बी बिकॉज ऑफ जेन्युइन रीजंस आल्सो. से might be that employee was on leave that day, so somebody else was appointed. Okay, so these type of things. So the auditor has to look at all these factors while actually performing tests of controls. So this I have already made clear to you many times कि जब वो tests of control, when he has performed the tests of controls, then he would evaluate, he would assess whether the internal controls are designed and operating as contemplated in preliminary assessment of control risk. ओके, सो दो चीजें स्टूडेंट्स आपको पेपर में भी ध्यान रखनी है इस टाइप के क्वेश्चन में कि आपको दोनों बातें लिखनी है, डिजाइन ऑफ कंट्रोल भी और ऑपरेटिंग इफेक्टिवनेस ऑफ कंट्रोल्स भी. सो टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल्स के दो पार्ट हैं. Design should also be okay, it should not be faulty, it should be able to prevent errors and detect and correct material misstatements, and the controls should have operated effectively throughout the period. So दो aspects हैं, आपको दोनों याद रखने हैं. Sometimes it happens कि डिजाइन वाली बात हम भूल जाते हैं क्योंकि इट इज ए लिटिल बिट डिफिकल्ट टू रिमेंबर. ऑपरेशन की तो याद रहती है कि कंट्रोल्स इफेक्टिवली ऑपरेट होने चाहिए, डिजाइन वाली बात हम आधी भूल जाते हैं. ओके, मोहम्मद असलम, कॉन्टेम्पलेटेड, यू आर आस्किंग कॉन्टेम्पलेटेड का क्या मतलब है? कॉन्टेम्पलेटेड मीन्स एज प्लान्ड, जैसा कि सोचा गया था. कॉन्टेम्पलेटेड मीन्स एज प्लान्ड. ओके, सो अगर टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल्स से उसकी रिजल्ट्स ठीक नहीं आए तो ऑडिटर अपनी कंट्रोल रिस्क की असेसमेंट को रिवाइज करेगा. से उसने कंट्रोल रिस्क पहले लो असेस किया था और अब एक्चुअल टेस्टिंग जब की तो पता चला यहाँ तो सब गड़बड़ है मामला, तो वो ही वुड रिवाइज and he would modify the nature, timing and extent of planned audit procedures. जो planned substantive procedures से जो डिटेल्ड चेकिंग उसने करनी थी उसका दायरा भी वो बढ़ा लेगा. he would increase its scope. okay, clear? Yes guys, clear? So this part we have already done, procedural tests and all that. This I have already explained to you. Yes, now we come to the Kiran Shukla, are you still logged in? I am worried about you. Have you understood the response to your query, procedural tests? Please drop a mail if you are listening. So internal control and IT environment. Guys, I think we should take a short break for 10 minutes here. So see you after a short break of 10 minutes. Okay. So break of 10 minutes. Welcome back, students. So next topic is internal control and IT environment. So IT जो है information technology से related you would be studying in chapter 6. So but some part of it we are touching here. So guys, controls can be manual and these can be manual or these can be embedded through IT system, automated. Okay. So like say in case of a bank, there may be a manual system of sanctioning loans, or there maybe, as you might have discovered, there are pre-approved loans, automated. It is showing your account that you have a pre-approved loan offer of say 10 lakhs. It is already approved based upon your transactions, based upon your track record, your profile, your account, your conduct of account. A certain amount is pre-approved. So control in a manual system may include such procedures as approvals and reviews of transactions and reconciliations and follow-up of reconciling items, like that this thing is to be approved by Mr. X, then Mr. Y would review it, and finally Mr. Z would sanction. Okay. And or there may be some automated process. Okay, which automatically initiates, records and processes the transactions and generates the reports. Okay. Or otherwise it can also be that controls in IT system could be combination of automated controls and manual controls. It could be a combination, like, or it could be that manual controls may be independent or of IT, separate of IT, or may use information produced by IT for their effective functioning. So it can be any combination. Okay. So basically we shall study here what are the benefits of IT in internal control. Okay, so how an automated system is beneficial in internal control of a company. In internal, how an automated system, you can say, an IT based system is beneficial to the internal control of a company. Okay. So again, nothing rocket science. You can make your advantages yourself also. It ensures timeliness, timely information is produced, the information is accurate. Okay. The control operates according to predefined rules. So whatever is fed into the system, the control operates according to that. Okay. Complex calculations are performed in large volume of transactions or data. Like say, for example, in case of banks, you see the whole this application of interest in loan accounts and in customer accounts also, who are having deposits with the banks. It is the whole process is automated. So the rates are fixed in master data in the client, master data of the client, and the systems automatically applies the interest rate at the end of each month or at the end of quarter, whatever is the stipulation. Okay. So it is likely to be errorless, and it can process transactions on a pan India basis within no time. Automatically it would do at the end of every month. So how beneficial it is, how beneficial IT is to the internal control system of an entity. Okay. facilitate additional analysis of information. Say the IT system may be generating some reports automatically. It may be generating some reports. So these reports would be of considerable benefit to the management. Like I told you, that system may be generating exception reports. Like these things happen during the day, not according to certain predefined parameters. Okay, so it provides additional information. So IT controls also increase the ability to monitor the performance of the company. IT benefit reduces the risks that control will be circumvented. Circumvented means bypassed, not followed. So because everything is automated, it is IT dependent. So there is a reduced possibility, reduced risk that controls will be circumvented. Okay. Enhance the ability to achieve effective segregation of duties. Segregation of duties can be easily achieved because manually, again, if the work is done manually, many people would interfere in somebody else's work, even though their duties have been clearly demarcated. So IT helps in all these ways. So Bhumika, you are asking to explain point 2 in manual and IT system again. So what was point 2? Point 2 was that that in IT system the controls can be combination of automated controls and manual controls. Okay, like say the say whole process is automated, but some aspects are to be done by the management, or to be done manually, sorry. Okay, so these manual controls can be independent by in itself. These are different tasks, or these might be dependent upon IT. Okay. So benefits you have understood, guys. Now these are all benefits. Processing of large volume of transaction, timeliness, additional analysis of information, reduce the risk. So you have just remember 4 or 5 benefits. Sometimes simple question also comes. It is not always that questions always come of difficult level. In fact, some off the mark simple questions also come. Okay, so anything which has benefits, it has also got some risks also, risks or disadvantages. So how could IT pose risk to internal control? How can, this is also important, how can IT pose risk to internal control of a company? How it can pose risk? Say if a company students is heavily dependent upon IT systems, say then a situation may arise that if some error happens, then that error would happen across the company. Okay, on in everywhere, in every aspect of the company, in all the programs. Okay, or it can be that there can be unauthorized access to the data. Okay, so it can be also a risk. It may lead to destruction of data or unauthorized changes to data. So, but all these risks, these in fact can be managed with adequate safeguards. So the possibility of IT personnel gaining excess privileges beyond necessary to perform their assigned duties. Like, say, if the company is too dependent upon IT, then IT personnel in that company might become too powerful. They might think that they have all the authority to do, because हमारे बिना तो कंपनी बैठ जाएगी, इनका सारा सिस्टम बैठ जाएगा. Okay, so they might interfere in other things. They might break the concept of segregation of duties. Yes, Bhumika, you are right. Unauthorized changes to data in master files. Again, this can be mitigated by safeguards. Unauthorized changes to system or programs. Failure to make necessary changes to system or program. Potential loss of data. Yes, this is a very important risk. There can be potential loss of data, important risk. So that is why that backup is there. Say in case of like say in case of banks, a backup is taken at the end of the day. Why? Because recognizing this risk, because there can be potential loss of data due to some technical issues, due to virus or other issues. So a backup is needed. Okay. So if we compare both manual elements and automated elements, so manual elements are, you can't say that manual controls are useless, that IT or automated is always better. No doubt IT helps in massive processing of transactions in shorter time. It ensures timeliness, it ensures accuracy, and it is more reliable. Okay, all these things are true, but it doesn't mean that human element is totally useless. It doesn't mean so. So the cases where judgment is required, more discretion is required, a thought process is required, a well thought out decision is required, there obviously human there obviously manual elements in internal control are needed. Okay, so as far as reliability is concerned, I have already told you that automated controls are more reliable because it is difficult to bypass them. It is difficult to ignore them. It is difficult to override them. It is difficult to circumvent them. Okay. Yes, yes. Why not, Darshan? It can use IT based controls totally. So rather in this information technology age, now we are seeing digital revolution. Now everything is IT driven. Okay, so now even digital audits are happening. Recently, you might have heard a news of few days back that CAG, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, you would be reading about CAG in chapter 9 on audit of different type of entities. So not chapter 9 exactly, the serial number of the chapter is something else. So the name of the chapter is audit of different type of entities. So CAG, you might be knowing, guys, Comptroller and Auditor General of India, now they have announced to that they have shifted to digital audit. Okay, so everything is software based. So nature of entities information system, कैसा उसका एंटिटी का इंफॉर्मेशन सिस्टम है, उसमें भी रिस्क्स और बेनिफिट्स क्या है, उस पर डिपेंड करेगा. ओके गाइस, सो what you have to remember, what you have to learn in this topic is that what are the benefits of IT of an automated system in internal control, and what are the risks. and what are the comparative advantages between manual elements and IT driven elements. Okay. Now we come to materiality and audit risk. Now guys, you understood materiality. You remember materiality? We had done it in chapter 2, essay 320. Okay. Now, what is the relationship between materiality and audit risk? Yes, tell me without seeing your module. What is the relationship between materiality and audit risk? Say, if I am an auditor, okay, and I perceive audit risk to be high. If I am an auditor and I perceive audit risk to be high in the company, so what materiality level should I set? What materiality level should I set? Yes, tell me. Tell me, students. Now understand the question. Understand the question first. If I am auditor of a company and I assess the audit risk is high, what does it mean? It means that the chances of inappropriate opinion to be given by me are greater. This is the meaning now of audit risk, high audit risk. That the chance that my audit would be failure and I would be giving an inappropriate opinion when financial misstatements are misstated, its chances are higher. That is what high audit risk means. So if I assess the audit risk to be high, so what materiality level should I set? I should set high materiality level or I should set low materiality level? Tell me. Now you are writing more material means more audit risk, higher material. Students, all of you are wrong. उसके लिए पहले आपको ऑडिट रिस्क और मेटेरियलिटी लेवल कैसे सेट करते हैं वो समझना पड़ेगा. से स्टूडेंट्स, मेरा ऑडिट रिस्क हाई है. I have assessed audit risk to be high. So मेरे को मेटेरियलिटी लेवल सेट करना है. एज्यूम करें कि मेरे को प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स मैंने उसका बेंचमार्क है जिसके ऊपर मैंने मेटेरियलिटी लेवल सेट करना है. से ये भी एज्यूम करें कि प्रॉफिट बिफोर टैक्स कंपनी में 50 लाख है. अब मैं आप बताइए कि मैं उसका मेटेरियलिटी लेवल 5% ऑफ पीबीटी सेट करूंगा कि 10% ऑफ पीबीटी सेट करूंगा. 10% ऑफ पीबीटी का क्या मतलब है? अगर मैं 10% पीबीटी का सेट करूंगा तो इसका मतलब है कि मैं 5 लाख से ऊपर वाली जो आइटम्स हैं वो सब मेरे लिए मटेरियल हैं. ओके. और अगर मैं 5% सेट करता हूं तो इसका मतलब है कि 2,50,000 से ऊपर वाली आइटम मेरे लिए मटेरियल है. तो मेरा तो ऑडिट रिस्क हाई है, तो मैं मटेरियलिटी लेवल लो सेट करूंगा ताकि आइटम्स जो है मटेरियल वो ज्यादा वो छूट ना जाए. तो अंडरस्टूड. So there is an inverse relationship between materiality and audit risk. Higher the audit risk, lower materiality level would be set, and lower the audit risk, higher materiality level would be set. Yes, Sonali, you are saying right. 5% set करूंगा. So is that clear to you guys? Materiality and audit risk. I have tried to explain you with the help of an example. Is it clear? So concept of materiality is applied by the auditor in both planning and performing the audit. And this is all what you have already read in chapter 2. Okay. So the question on the relationship between materiality and audit risk is given in your on the back exercises of this module, where it states that whether there is a direct relationship or inverse relationship between materiality and audit risk. And students, many times this question has come in exams also. Okay. And next, डॉक्यूमेंटिंग द रिस्क. सो जो भी आपने रिस्क है वो डॉक्यूमेंट करना है ऑडिटर को. रिस्क असेसमेंट प्रोसीजर डॉक्यूमेंट करने हैं, रिस्क ऑफ मटेरियल मिसस्टेटमेंट डॉक्यूमेंट करना है, क्या डिस्कशन हुई एंगेजमेंट टीम की, क्या डिसीजन रीच किए, रिस्क असेसमेंट प्रोसीजर्स कौन से परफॉर्म किए, ऑल द रिस्क असेसमेंट प्रोसीजर परफॉर्म, and the identified and assessed risk of material misstatement at financial statement level and assertion level. Okay, the risks identified and related controls for which the auditor has obtained an understanding. These all things have to be documented by the auditor. Yes, you can say, you can understand it that way, Himanshu. You can understand it that way. So guys, now are you ready for some correct incorrect type of questions? Are you ready guys for some correct incorrect type of questions? We were unable to do it in our last session. So today we will be doing at least 10 questions. Are you ready? Are you able to see the screen guys? Are the questions visible to you? Yes, question number 1. So guys, do write 1-2 line about reason also. The control environment in itself does not prevent or detect and correct a material misstatement. Tell me whether this statement is correct or incorrect. The control environment in itself does not correct a material misstatement. Rather, to gain more clarity, you should read it as the satisfactory control environment. You can read it that way. The satisfactory control environment in itself does not prevent or detect and correct a material statement. Yes, only 3 answers till now. Bhumika, Revati, and Dipanshu. And what about others? The control environment in itself doesn't prevent or detect and correct material misstatements. Yes. Darshan has also given answer. This statement is correct. कंट्रोल एनवायरनमेंट तो स्टूडेंट्स हमने पढ़ा था क्या होता है. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का एनवायरनमेंट, मैनेजमेंट कैसी है, एचआर पॉलिसीज कैसी हैं, डेलीगेशन ऑफ अथॉरिटी कैसी है, गवर्नेंस स्टाइल कैसा है. तो वो अगर सेटिस्फैक्ट्री है, दैट इज सेटिस्फैक्ट्री, इट इज गुड. It would help in reducing material misstatements or preventing material misstatements, but it in itself is not a guarantee. It in itself cannot prevent or detect and correct material misstatement. It only, since it is an environment, so it only provides an enabling environment, enabling sort of thing. If that is okay, then obviously controls are likely to be operating satisfactorily. Okay, but by itself it is not a guarantee. Okay. Second, narrative record as a method for evaluation of internal control is suited to large companies. Tell, we had done today only narrative record. Yes, students, tell me, what is the answer? Narrative record as a method for evaluation of internal control is suited to large companies. Yes, guys, very few mails are coming. I think all of you are busy in seeing the IPL match, as one of you was telling. Yes, mails have got Darshan, Dipanshu, Rajiv Kumar Singh, Bhumika, Sanjeet, Tanisha, Himanshu, Loga Sundar. Others only 8 mails have come. Narrative record as a method for evaluation. Yes, Aditya, Akshay Kumar, Ira Hussain is suited to large companies. This is incorrect. It is only today we have read that it is not suited to large companies. It is suited to small companies, small business. Because what happens? Yes, Sonali, your answer is also correct. How it is suited to large companies? Revati, how you are writing it is correct. Narrative means to put it in writing to describe the system. How you can describe the system of a large company? How you can describe the internal control system of a large company? Are you going to write every aspect in writing, and are you going to write a thesis on internal control? How you would write? Okay. So narrative record as a method of evaluation of internal control is suited to small business. Yes, Sonali, your answer is right. Okay. So number 3, audit risk is not influenced by business risk of a company, of an entity. Yes, tell me. Audit risk is not influenced by business risk. Yes, what should be the answer? Question number 3. Take little time, think over. Four mails have come: Himanshu Pathak, Bhumika, Darshan, and Loga Sundar. Audit risk is not influenced by business risk of an entity. Yes. Others still in thinking mode or sleep mode? Yes, guys, tell me, are you in sleep mode or thinking mode? Yes. Audit risk is influenced. This statement is incorrect. Audit risk is influenced by the business risk. Say if the company is not able to gauge the business risk, okay, then if it is not able to manage its business risk, then there would be greater chances of auditor expressing inappropriate opinion. Like in case of going concern we had discussed. Even one chap Himanshu has written about going concern also. I had specifically told you, like say, if the company has no plans to deal with the business risk, we had learnt in the entity's risk assessment process, and it does not assess that there are business risks which could materialize, and if there is no plan in place, um, the business could go haywire, and in turn it can impact reliability of financial reporting. Okay, so audit risk is influenced by business risk, so this is also incorrect. Yes, Sania Parveen, you are also writing incorrect, but without reason. In exam, no credit is going to be given. Number 4, performance reviews are part of control environment. Tell me, where first remember, where had you heard this term performance reviews? क्या ये इस चैप्टर की टर्म है या नहीं? पहले तो ये सोचिए, और अगर है इस चैप्टर की तो कहां पे थी? आप सोचिए. Performance reviews are part of control environment. Yes, guys. No mails, guys. Sleep mode. Performance reviews are part of control environment. Only one mail, Sonali Chavan. Performance reviews are part of control environment. Yes, students. What about other guys? Akshay Kumar, without reason. Himanshu Pathak, Dipanshu, also without reason. Bhumika has also answered. So, guys, we had studied. Yes, Mohit, I think now your mail has come. I don't think any of your previous mail has come. Now your mail has come. Performance reviews are part of control environment. This statement is patently false statement. It is incorrect. Performance reviews are part of control activities. Where we had studied that these are part of control environment. कंपोनेंट ऑफ इंटरनल कंट्रोल में परफॉर्मेंस रिव्यूज के बारे में पढ़ाया था क्या? नहीं पढ़ाया. उसमें तो मैनेजमेंट एथिकल है कि नहीं, एचआर प्रैक्टिसेस कैसी हैं, डेलीगेशन ऑफ अथॉरिटी है कि नहीं, ये चीजें इन्वॉल्व हैं. गवर्नेंस स्टाइल कैसा है, एम्प्लॉय सेटिस्फाई रहते हैं कि नहीं, कंपनसेशन पैकेज कैसा है. परफॉर्मेंस रिव्यूज की तो बात ही नहीं आई. जहां परफॉर्मेंस रिव्यूज आ गया, review means it is a part of control activities. When you go to module and read control activities, that question as a part of internal control, you would see that in the diagram there are performance reviews, segregation of duties, physical controls. These are all part of control activities. Okay. These are all part of control activities. Yes, it is only now, Mohit, that I have got your mail. There was no mail from your side. Yes, Himanshu, now you are saying that you have got it. Okay. Now question number 5. Guys, damn easy. इतने आसान क्वेश्चन लोग बनाते हैं. Controls are less structured in small companies. Yes, tell whether this is correct or incorrect. Controls are less structured in small companies. Yes, tell whether this is correct statement or incorrect. Controls are less structured in small companies. Yes, mails have come. Sayyad, Tanisha, Mohit Saini, Sonali, Aditya, Loga Sundar. So this statement is correct, guys. Mohit, how you have written it is incorrect. Say, look, the question asks you to answer controls are less structured in small companies. So what does structure means? Structure means कि डिफरेंशिएशन प्रॉपर सिस्टम, ये एक्टिविटी वो आदमी करेगा, ये वो करेगा, ये वाली ड्यूटी उसकी है, ये उसकी है, ये लेस स्ट्रक्चर्ड हैं. आप बता रहे हैं इफेक्टिव हैं कि नहीं. इफेक्टिवनेस के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं. लेस स्ट्रक्चर्ड का मतलब है फॉर्मल कंट्रोल्स कम है, कि प्रॉपर सिस्टम्स डेवलप नहीं है स्मॉल कंपनीज में. ओके, जनरली इट इज ट्रू कि स्मॉल कंपनी कोई छोटी कंपनी होगी तो उसमें स्ट्रक्चरिंग कम होगी, क्योंकि वो भी छोटी कंपनी है, उसमें इलेबोरेट सिस्टम्स नहीं है. हैव यू अंडरस्टूड, मोहित? No, monitoring of controls and evaluation of controls is different thing. If you are talking about evaluation of internal controls, then it is a different thing. Monitoring of and if you are talking about Darshan, monitoring and evaluation of controls just, then it is the same. But if you are talking about evaluation of internal control, then it is not the same. Yes, Mohit. So कई बार ऐसा हो जाता है मोहित. So I am pretty sure that you knew the answer of this question, but question was so simple. So in the heat of the moment, in the hurry, you probably answered it in wrong way. It happens in the exams also. And बाहर आके पेपर देके, then you would have to cut a sorry figure. Okay. Monetary control means Suraj control relating to money. Okay, is my perception right? Mohit, you knew the answer, you understood the concept, but you answered wrongly. Tell me if my sense, my perception is okay, that you understood the concept. Drop a mail. Yes, now we come to second part. So guys, are you able to see now? Now answer these questions. Lower the audit risk, lower is the materiality level set by the auditor. Just Mohit, you have to concentrate, keep patience, and read between the lines. ध्यान से पढ़ो, जब आपके सामने पेपर आए तो just do not jump, हो गया और आंसर सी लगाया, जस्ट समझ लीजिए वो क्वेश्चन कहना क्या चाहता है। एक बार जैसे ही आपने नजर के नीचे से निकाला, एक बार उसको दोबारा पढ़िए। ओके, lower the audit risk, lower is the materiality level set by the auditor. Yes, only Sonali has answered. Lower the audit risk, lower is the materiality level. Yes, Akshay Kumar, Loka Sundar, Sanjeet, Darshan, Dipanshu. Yes, what about the other guys? This statement is incorrect. So all of you are answering rightly. Revati, how you are saying it is correct? अभी तो मैंने एग्जाम्पल देके बताया था. If the audit risk is low, then the auditor can take the liberty. He would set materiality level at a high level. And if the audit risk is high, then he would set materiality level low. That all material items should not escape his attention. So there is inverse relationship between audit risk and materiality. How you are writing, Revati? No, Sayyid, you are also wrong. This I have just, when the class is over, just rewind the video and try to see what I've explained. Try to listen, try to imbibe in your mind. Yes, Sanjeet, your answers are visible. Yes, Singh Rajiv Kumar, you are writing correct. You are giving the right answer. Bhumika, your answer is also right. Kira, Hussain, and all others. Number 2, question number 2. IT system do not pose risk to company's internal control. Correct or incorrect? Tell me. So simple. IT systems do not pose risks to company's internal control. Yes, guys. IT systems do not pose risk to company's internal control. Yes, Mohit, Sani, Sonali, Himanshu, Sanjeet, Sayyid, Darshan. So guys, again, I would say old habits die hard. Isn't it so? I have told you many times to make it a habit to give the reason also. But you say we will not give the reason. आपने भी झंडा उठा लिया है, हम रीजन नहीं देंगे. ओके, कोई बात नहीं. So guys, when this is also incorrect, IT systems do pose risk to companies' internal controls. So when you answer this type of question, look, your responsibility doesn't end here to write this statement is correct because IT systems pose risk to companies' internal control. This would not be proper answer. So you should write This statement is incorrect. IT systems pose risk to the company's internal control, like there may be unauthorized access to data or potential loss of data. So अगर आप एक उसको explain कर देंगे तो obviously पेपर चेकर को 2 नंबर देने में आसानी रहेगी. ओके. Yes, Sonali, you have given it. I am not talking about you. I am talking about others. Okay, so that would be a better way to answer, as I have told you. Question number 3. Tests of control include reperformance. Whether this is correct or incorrect? Yes, tell me. Tests of control include reperformance. क्या जब टेस्ट ऑफ कंट्रोल ऑडिटर परफॉर्म करता है, सो वेदर इट इंक्लूड्स प्रोसीजर ऑफ रीपरफॉर्मेंस? Whether it includes procedure of reperformance? Tell me. Ira, Hussain and Dipanshu. Darshan has also answered. Yes, Himanshu Pathak, Sanjeet. So this statement is correct. So Dipanshu, like you are writing correct statement, यहाँ तक तो ठीक है. Then you are giving reconciliation of bank accounts. अब say if you write this, if you write in paper in this way, then it would be presumed that your answer is without reason, without a valid reason. So you should write in this way. Tests of control, this statement is correct because tests of control includes reperformance. Reperformance means performing again a procedure which was performing again a control which was carried out by the management staff. So definitely tests of controls include reperformance. So that is why, क्योंकि अगर वो reperform नहीं करेगा तो उसको पता कैसे चलेगा कि वो टेस्ट वो कंट्रोल ऑपरेट कर रहा है. ओके, सो यू हैव टू फ्रेम इट इन दिस वे. Number 4, IC questionnaire is normally required to filled by audit staff. Tell me, damn simple. IC questionnaire is normally required to be filled by the audit staff. Is the statement correct or incorrect? Tell me, guys. IC questionnaire is normally required to be filled by the audit staff carrying out the audit. What we had learned? Yes. All of you, Mohit, Dipanshu, Sanjit, Darshan, Himanshu, Sayyad, Aditya, all of you have answered rightly. So at least one question is that all of you have answered rightly. That IC questionnaire is normally required to be filled by the audit staff carrying out audit. This is incorrect. It is required to be filled by the client. Client is staff. These are questions to be answered by the management through its executive staff. Okay, Suraj, you are also right, but without reason. लिफाफा डाल दिया, उसके ऊपर टिकट नहीं है. टिकट नहीं होगी तो बेरंग वापस हो जाएगा. सूरज, हिंदी में बता रहा हूं. Fifth, risks of material misstatement at the financial statement level and assertion levels are required to be documented. Question number 5. Yes, students, tell me. Risk of material misstatement at the financial statement level and assertion level are required to be documented. Yes, question number 5. The risks of material misstatement at the financial statement level and assertion level are required to be documented. डॉक्यूमेंट की बात हो रही है, डॉक्यूमेंटेशन किस चीज की होगी? जो रिस्क है मटेरियल मिसस्टेटमेंट के फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट लेवल और असर्शन लेवल के बोथ यस द स्टेटमेंट इज करेक्ट. भूमिका, Tanisha, Mohit, it is correct because these are required to be documented. Risk of material misstatement both at financial statement level and assertion level are required to be documented in accordance with SA 315. Okay, so this is the correct statement because why? SA 315 requires the auditor to document the risks pertaining to financial statement level and assertion level. So guys, have you got a basic understanding of what we have read till now? So we have covered 75% of the chapter, more than 75, rather 80% of the chapter, risk assessment and internal control. So basically in this chapter, guys, remember what is audit risk. Remember what are the components of audit risk. Remember what do we mean by inherent risk, control risk and detection risk. Remember how detection risk affects audit risk. Okay, remember the meaning of term misstatements. Remember why understanding a company is important in the first place. And how an auditor should proceed to understand a company. What factors he has to take into account. Remember the definition of internal control. Remember the purpose of internal control. Remember the names of components of internal control and what is included in those components. Remember what constitutes a significant risk. Okay. And what factors are to be considered by the auditor while determining significant risk. Remember why evaluation of internal control is beneficial for auditor. Remember methods of evaluation of internal control. 4 methods. And remember how IT is beneficial in internal control vis-a-vis manual controls. What is the relationship between materiality and audit risk? And what aspects of risk are to be documented? Okay. So all these things. So guys, it is over for today. Oh, good night, guys. Good night. It's over for today. Thank you so much.